Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
Hey, I got a call last week from somebody who works, I guess is loosely affiliated or works for Comedy Channel or Comedy Central. And they're doing a show called So You Think You Made It. And it's about Hollywood celebrities who, I guess, thought they were huge and put in their place pretty quickly. And so one of them said, hey, can we use that story that you tell on the air about Gelson's? And I said, yeah. I said, and they said, well, can we send you some legal papers? I said, buddy, I don't, just use it. I'm not going to get lawyers involved and, just use it. And they said, well, can I send you a paper? I said, yeah, send me anything. I'll sign it. That's all yours. You can have it. And the story was, I was at Gelson's on Laurel Canyon and Riverside. And this happened about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And I was here at KFI. I was back in the deli section. I took a number, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. I'm 48. And so I walk up, and the guy working at Gelson's, he looks around. He looks to his left. He looks to his right. And he says, hey, we're not supposed to talk to celebrities at Gelson's. I said, oh, well, if that's the rule, then don't do that. But he goes, hey, but can I ask you a question? And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, sure. What are John and Ken like? What Gary and Shannon? How's Crozier? I was ready to answer any question you might have. She goes, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. What do you got? He said, does that guy over there look like David Spade to you? That is a totally true story. Totally true story. Ding dong. That's happened to me a couple of times. It happened to me embarrassing. It happened with my daughter was in the car, and we were going to Cane's here in Burbank, and we were driving around, and we got to the window. We had already ordered. I was about to pay, and the guy looks at me and goes, Tim? And I look at him and go, ding dong. And my daughter puts her head down. And she's like, Dad, remember you gave him your name earlier at the order box? He's just asking if it's you. He doesn't listen to KFI. She was thoroughly embarrassed by that. Completely embarrassed by that. But they're doing a TV show on it at Comedy Central or, Comedy Channel or whatever it is called now. So I don't know if the material is, there's enough material there. If there's enough idiots out there like me. But maybe there's. That's possible. That's certainly possible. All right, let's get into Pink Taco is a very popular restaurant in Los Angeles. It's on the Sunset Strip. And guess what? Like a lot of restaurants and a lot of businesses, just closed up.
After 12 years, an iconic business along the Sunset Strip has closed its doors. Pink Taco abruptly announced Monday with a sign on its door saying, sorry, we're closed. It's also listed as permanently closed on Yelp.
Oh, that's horrible. That's terrible. It's a great restaurant.
The reason remains unclear. The West Hollywood restaurant first opened its doors in 2012. There are still 3 other locations in New York, Boston, and D.C.
Oh, good. Okay, well, that's convenient.
Locations in New York, Boston, and D.C.
All right, New York, Boston, and D.C.
New York, Boston, and D.C.
D.C.
Yeah, she was very,
Yeah, very sexy. Have you ever been there, Croce, at Pink Taco?
Never have.
Ah, it's great. Snafu, you like Mexican food, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
You been?
I actually never went to that one.
Oh, you missed out.
You've never been to a Pink Taco?
You've never been to one?
Mm-mm.
You've never been to one in New York or Boston or D.C.?
Vegas?
No. Never been there.
Angel, you been?
I've never been.
Oh, you people. Where do you guys go? You guys go to El Torito or Acapulco? Where are you guys going to get your Mexican food?
Taco Bell, baby.
Taco Bell? Del Taco? God almighty, you guys are white. Not like me. I slide out there and I get the authentic food. Yeah.
Walk in.
Dong.
Hola! Tacos, please.
Yeah, ding dong. Like, oh, no, Tim, please bring it down. Please bring it down. All right, we're about to get, you remember last week, 115, 116 in Burbank, Woodland Hills, 117? Well, guess what? We are about to get our first rainstorm.
So when does fall get here? I've been touting this for the last couple of weeks. And the fall on the calendar will officially get here
tomorrow
on Sunday. And
Sunday, whatever.
On Sunday, and it will early Sunday morning, 7:43. It'll be mostly clear. We're looking at a warm up. Our first day of fall is going to feel like summer.
Hey, Croce, were you driving home last night? Did you see when the moon came up, how huge it looked?
Absolutely,
man,
yes.
Oh, man, it's going to look again almost as big tonight. But did you also notice that a piece was missing from the top?
That's the shading.
Yeah, that was the shadow of Earth.
Partial eclipse, I guess they would call it.
Yeah. But, man, when it comes, that's the closest that the moon's been to Earth in quite some time.
It was weird because when I left here last night, I saw it, and it just looked gigantic as I was driving home. By the time I got home and looked out the window of my house, it didn't look as big.
Yeah, right. But when it comes up, it looks huge.
Yeah. When it's first coming up, that you got to catch it early to see how large it is.
And with all the smoke from the fires, it looks really orange when it first came up. But
yes.
you see it. We'll watch it again tonight. It comes out of the east, rises out of the east, sets in the west. Maybe you guys are hip to that already. But as you're driving on any of the eastern freeways, the 210, the 10, Angel, what else is going west?
The 60.
60. Any even number is typically going
90.
East-west. 90 is a good one. The 80, the 70, the 50, the 90, the 10. Oh, the 10. That's another one. Yeah, the 20.
34, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the weather. When are we going to get rain here?
And this often happens when we're on the shoulders of seasons, right? Summer's leaving, fall is entering, but we're going to still battle it out all the way in through October. We tend to get sometimes a little bit of a warm up where it feels a little summer-like, and then we get a cool down where it's like, okay, yes, fall is here. But that is...
Yeah, we are going to get these Santa Ana winds. Late September, October, and that's going to be a nightmare if any of these fires start.
But that is typically the case for that first month of any season where we kind of go back and forth a little bit until fall officially kind of just takes over things as we get into November and December. Area of low pressure is going to plop through Thursday into Friday. There is a chance of rain.
Rain is on the way for Thursday. Tomorrow and early Friday, rain. Not much. But, man, we could use it.
To say that we're going to get measurable rain, but we will broad brush the area with some spotty showers. And I do think you should anticipate at least a few showers on your Friday morning. Will they be big, significant? No. But enough to get the windshield wipers going in some spots.
That's
72
cool.
In San Diego, 68 in Santa Barbara, Inland Orange County.
It's always fun to turn your wipers on after they've melted in the summer when it's 115 degrees out. And they just destroy your view. You can't see anything in the first, you got to get the new wipers. You never know when to get the new wipers, though. You want to get it after the last heat and before the big rains start in November. And wipers are cheap nowadays. You can go to Costco or Walmart and get them for, $9, $10 per wiper. And it does make a huge difference. Huge difference. But putting them on yourself, that is tricky. That is a very complicated thing for most people to do. With me, it's hit and miss. Either I do it in 1 second or 2 hours later, I throw it away. It's hit and miss with me.
76, 74 tomorrow. We bottom out. Same with Friday because that system passes to the north of us, and it does bring us at least a chance of some spotty light showers.
A lot of snow and rain up in the Sierra Nevada. So we're moving on. I think we're done with the most part for these triple-digit temperatures. It's going to be hot this weekend in the valley. 95, 96, 97, maybe 100, but I think we're done with the 115s.
The weekend looks for a warm-up, beautiful on Saturday, and then we get hot Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We will go back above the average, so we'll go from 73 to 99. So we're talking a 25-degree warm-up in many areas.
73 to 99.
We will go back above the average, so we'll go from 73 to 99.
Oh, no.
So we're talking a 25-degree warm-up in many areas from where we'll end the week and where we'll start the week next week. So we do anticipate a major change. It looks like that sandwich day in the middle, Friday into Saturday, Friday afternoon, Saturday.
Beautiful.
That's your best time frame right there. Temperature is not too hot, not too cold. We are looking at temperatures that will be warm and above the average. I don't even think this weather...
I can't believe this, but we slept with the window open last night. And at one point, my wife and I said, I got to shut the window. I'm freezing. Because it was 59 degrees.
Yes, did the same
I
thing.
did that too. Yeah.
It was horrible. 1 week ago it was 120,000 degrees, and now I had to get up out of bed freezing to shut the window because we were, about to get frostbite or something like that. Whatever.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
I was watching the news earlier. There's not a lot of information on this, but there was a big fight at Palmdale High School. So maybe if you have a kid, brother or sister who goes to Palmdale High School, there was some major fight. Up to 100 students involved. Cops are out there. LA County Sheriff. It was in lockdown for a while. So if you have a kid that goes there, ask them what happened. Because we don't have much information. They're not giving out much information on. Odd. Gas prices. Governor Newsom is pushing to take gas prices and shove them down. We've been paying way too much for gasoline in the state of California lately, and we need a break.
Well, it's no secret that gas in the state of California is some of the most expensive in the nation. In fact, according to numbers that we have seen from AAA, the average price for a gallon of gasoline in California is about $4.78. That is $1.50 more than the national average. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom says that he blames oil companies for that huge gap. His idea is to make rules for refineries to store backup oil in the event that they need a shutdown for maintenance. He says those maintenance shutdowns directly lead to price spikes, several of which we saw last fall.
That's right.
He's arguing if his plan were in place last year, Californians could have saved as a whole millions, perhaps billions of dollars.
Okay. One of the reasons why gas spikes is when they take a refinery offline for maintenance, or maybe there's an explosion, and that's one of the reasons. But another reason, taxes. We pay more than any other state in taxes for gasoline.
Industry leaders, however, say Newsom's idea can cost them a lot more money.
And you know what? And we don't have a choice here in California. We all drive, or most of us do. Almost everybody I know drives or has a car. Almost everybody. Even people are making, $10, $15 an hour. Somehow they've been able to put together a car and they drive themselves around. But if you lived in New York City, you probably don't know anybody who has a car. You could go to New York and live there and work there without a car for 3, 4, 5 years and never even think about it. And if somebody has a car and lives in New York, you think they're an idiot for owning a car because they never use it. You take a cab or the subway wherever you want to go, unless you have a house and you live in New Jersey. But if you live in Manhattan and you own a car, either you're really rich or you're not that bright. Those are the only two people that own cars in Manhattan. It's extremely expensive to park in Manhattan. But here in California, you need a car. You can't give it up in California. You have to have it to get around.
And by costing them more money, that can drive prices to go even higher. Whereas Democratic lawmakers embrace the special session, hoping to properly vet his idea.
All right. Speaking of cars, we had a kid who's only 8 years old, and he drove himself to Target.
This 8-year-old who drove herself more than a dozen miles alone
to Target
to get to a Target.
Wow. What a great commercial for Target. You know, it's so popular, and it's such a great place that kids who are 8 years old are taking dad's car to Target. That's a great commercial. Great TV commercial.
It looks like a kid.
Okay, it's a white Nissan Rogue.
Yeah, it's. I have a license plate.
Okay, what is that?
KAF.
Boy, oh boy. A driver called in the plates, luckily enough. The 8-year-old girl and the car had both been reported missing on Sunday morning. Wow. Officers later found the child alone inside of a Target.
What grade are you in at 8? Are you in second grade? Third grade?
Third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second grade. Third grade. And you're driving to Target. Man, oh man. That girl, I think that girl's going to go on to be something in life. A lot of ambition, you know? Getting that car out. I don't even know how you reached the pedals at 8. But took off and went to her favorite place, Target.
She was drifting a little bit, but she was getting there.
All right. She enjoys Target. They've got to make that into a commercial. It's a great online commercial. Maybe not on TV, but a great social media commercial. Throw that kid, 8-year-old, in the car, and she's off to Target. All right, we talked about this earlier. The second moon, you're going to see it east as you drive home tonight. Maybe you you work in downtown LA and you're going to drive to the Inland Empire. You're going to see this big-ass moon tonight.
Earth is about to have a temporary second moon.
Yeah.
Meet 2024 PT5, a small asteroid recently discovered that will be captured by Earth's gravity for just 53 days.
Yeah, and this is going to be about 2.5 times the distance of the moon. And so it's very close to Earth. This is going to be they're calling it a second moon. It's going to be around for 53 days, though, and it's going to be visible to the naked eye.
Starting at the end of this month, this mini-moon will make a brief orbit around our planet before continuing its journey through space. Although you won't be able to see it with the naked eye.
That's not true. I heard you can see with the naked eye.
Although you won't be able to see it with the naked eye.
I have good eyes. I went to Saddleback. I can see everything.
Scientists are excited to study how Earth's gravity affects it. This rare event gives us a deeper understanding of asteroid behavior and could even impact future space missions.
Yeah, hope it doesn't hit us, man. That would wipe us out. Wipe us out. I heard something interesting on the internet, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. But anyone that was born before 1840, for some reason that date sticks out, and I don't know why they've determined that. But scientists and historians, they all believe that right around the same date, all around 1840. But anyone who lived before 1840 never knew that there were dinosaurs on this planet for millions and millions and millions of years. Nobody ever knew it. There were no fossils that were found. There were no scientists that knew. There was no carbon dating. There was none of that.
Wow.
So if you were born before 1840, you never knew dinosaurs existed. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Now we have. You can go down to the museum and see one. They got the bones of one downtown. See, check them out.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
We have a story here about an electric bill mix-up. This guy lives in an apartment building, and he was paying his neighbor's electric bill for how long? Let's do a whip around here. All right, how long was this guy paying his electric bill, but it wasn't his, it was his neighbor's that he was paying, and his neighbor was paying his. So they just crisscrossed them. How long was this guy paying his neighbor's electric bill? Stefouche.
I know it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Croge.
2 years.
2 years. Angel Martinez.
3 years.
3 years. Matt.
1 year.
1 year. All right. Let's find out how long this guy was paying his neighbor's electric bill.
A Northern California man is shocked after he finds out he's been paying someone else's utility bill.
This story's really crazy. Ken Wilson lives alone in his Vacaville apartment when his
That's a brag, huh?
Wilson lives alone in his Vacaville apartment.
Wow.
When his bill spiked a few months ago, he tried to cut back, even buying a device to tell him how many watts his appliances were using.
Woo.
The bill stayed high, and he finally called PG&E, and that's when he found out he's been paying the bill for the unit next door.
For how long?
Possibly for 18 years.
18 18 years.
Macarena.
18 years. Let's find out real quickly. Let me see. All right. So he's been doing it for 18 years. And that means 216 months, 216 electric bills that were paid that weren't his.
Even after I turned off my breakers, I kept going outside to check my meter to see if it was still running, and it was still running. And I couldn't believe it.
PG&E has owned up to the mistake and says it is committed to making it right, though it has not said exactly how.
Committed to making it right? How about committed to paying this guy $10,000 or $50,000?
Mistake and says it is committed to making it right, though it has not said exactly how.
Well, I know how. Just exchange bills. Give the neighbor your bill and you take the neighbor's bill. Boom.
This is probably a rare occurrence, but here's a tip just in case. The meter ID number is listed on the monthly bill, so it might be a good idea to check to make sure they match.
I'll be right on that.
Get on that.
Yeah, got nothing else to do. I will get on it. All right, airport satisfaction. Where are we with LAX?
A new study from J.D. Power has revealed which North American airports travelers find most satisfying. The list includes Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport at number 1.
Wow, okay. All right, the Twin Cities, number 1.
Detroit Metropolitan Wayne County Airport at number 2, and Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport at number 3.
It's a good one.
You know what's another good airport is, well, Burbank, it will be great once they're done with it. But that San Jose airport is terrific. So is Portland.
Yeah, I'm surprised Portland wasn't higher.
Yeah,
like
Portland.
The top 3.
They just renovated their airport. It is spectacular. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's all wood now inside.
Oh, wow.
And I got to show you some pictures.
I know it was highly ranked for a number of years. That's
Yeah.
why I'm surprised, especially with the remodel, that it's not higher here.
You know what you see all over Portland Airport that you don't see at Burbank or LAX? There are signs everywhere. You can't miss them. And the sign reads, if you're paying more for a product in the airport than you were paying outside the airport, call this phone number.
Wow.
So if you have a McDonald's in Portland Airport, it has to be the same price for a Big Mac outside as it is inside that airport. And that's how they keep the prices down.
That should make them number 1, period.
It
that
should.
Airport.
You're right. But they're smart because they don't charge. Like if you have a retail space at LAX, it's tremendously expensive. That's why you got to charge more for your product. But at Portland Airport, they don't charge much more. I think it's like a typical price if you had a store inside the airport or outside the airport. But if you're charged more for, they have a Nike store in there. And if you're buying Nike shoes inside the airport, they have to be the same price as you're buying at the mall.
That should be a law, period.
Everywhere, at every airport. Because, this Burbank Airport, I got a tall bottle of water. Maybe it was a liter and a half. $9.
Oh, come on.
$9 for one bottle of water. $9.
Fourth on the list is John F. Kennedy International Airport.
What? JFK got 4th?
No way.
Yeah, I'm with Glenn.
Right?
No way.
No way. No possible way.
No way.
That's New Yorkers just voting for their own crap.
No way.
Yeah, no way, man. That's Glenn Walker, the 1 o'clocker with Glenn Walker.
No way.
No way, man.
While LAX ranked below average at 14. The survey evaluated ease of travel, level of trust with the airport, terminal facilities, staff, departure, experience, food, beverage, and retail options, and arrival experience.
Yeah, LAX. All better by 2028.
Sure. You say so.
I hope LAX does get better.
Wow,
I hope it does.
That's just a negative, man. No
I know.
optimism whatsoever.
Everybody S's on it, including myself.
It's so cool to crap on it. And I do too.
Right. Especially when they make you wait 2 hours. Was it 2 hours?
At least 2 hours, yeah. Sitting on the tarmac just to get off the plane, not leaving.
That's at the end of the trip.
Yeah.
If that was the beginning of your vacation, you could tolerate it because you're thinking about, going to the beach or playing golf or hanging out.
Going to sleep.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But when you're coming home, you just want to get home.
Oh, my gosh.
Just want to get home. I remember flying back to LAX, and my daughter, my wife were hungry, so we stopped at the Carl's on Century Boulevard there, like a half mile, quarter mile from LAX.
Oh, yeah.
And I go through the drive-thru, and there's bars on the drive-thru window. And I said to the young lady working there, I said, hey, what's going on here? You got bars on the window? And she said, yeah, a week ago, a guy jumped through the window and robbed the place. Like, oh, okay. Well, this is the welcome to Los Angeles that we have for everybody. A guy flies to LA for the first time, and the first thing he does, he wants to get a burger, and he has to see bars on the window. Oh, Bubba. All right, speaking of flying and airports, we have a horrible story here. It's probably the fear of a lot of people who fly. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you about it. But this turned into a bloody mess on this flight. We'll tell you what happened when we come back. Blood everywhere.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. On Demand from KFI AM 640.
Look east. In about a half hour, you're going to see this big-ass moon. Huge moon tonight. It'll rise in Burbank at 7:26. If you're in Ontario, 7:23. So, start looking around 7:20. It'll come up over the mountains, and you'll see this big, huge, beautiful orange moon coming right up over those hills. And with all the smoke from the fires, and especially how big it is and how close the moon is to Earth right now, it is going to be spectacular. But you got to catch it early. If you catch it too late, it gets too small. And there's nothing interesting about that. Nothing at all. So you got to catch it at in about a half hour. Almost exactly a half hour from now. Moon coming up. So you're stuck on the 10, I don't know what freeway you're on, 90, 50, 70, 210. Whatever it is. If you're going east, look up, look out, and look at that moon. All right, a bloody flight. A flight that turned into a bloody mess coming out of Utah on Delta Airlines.
New this midday, some scary moments in the sky for some Delta airline passengers. The pressurization issue on a recent flight caused bloody noses and some severe ear pain for several travelers.
Wow.
Passengers say they started to feel pain shortly after the flight departed from Salt Lake City. It was en route to Portland, Oregon on Sunday. One passenger said it felt like somebody was stabbing her ear. She later discovered she had a ruptured eardrum. The plane returned to Salt Lake. Medical personnel met it there. There were no serious injuries, but 10 passengers needed evaluation or treatment.
I looked over at my husband and he had both of his hands over his ears.
Yeah, that was on the way to the airport.
I looked over at my husband and he had both of his hands over his ears.
That was also Thanksgiving of last year.
I looked over at my husband and he had both of his hands over his ears.
That was during that was during the Rams-Phoenix Cardinals game.
I looked over at my husband and he had both of his hands over his ears.
Oh, no, that's when you said you wanted to tell him a story about a woman you work with at Union Bank.
I looked over at my husband and he had both of his hands over his ears.
Oh.
They finally announced that we were going to head back to the airport. Still didn't say why. I do feel they could have done a little bit better, letting us know what was happening.
The FAA is now investigating. Delta says technicians fixed the pressure issue on the aircraft and the plane was returned to service the following day.
Yeah. This is Bellio talking about John when he watches college football on Saturday.
I looked over at my husband and he had both of his hands over his ears.
All right. She's not here to defend herself. I get it. Cheap shot. I get it. All right, if you love coffee, you might be living forever and ever and ever. 2 cups of coffee is linked to lower risk in heart disease.
Marianne taking a look at a new study that suggests that 2 or 3
Nice.
cups of coffee a day is linked to a lower risk of heart and metabolic disease. You
Wow.
can appreciate this story, Eva.
Well, Eva, hopefully you do appreciate this new data. So it's adding to the existing research that we know about coffee and its benefits. It looks at over 180,000 participants and examining and comparing the outcomes of those who have a lot of coffee in a day,
Right.
3 to 4 cups, to those who have only a cup of coffee.
Or none.
And they found that those who had between 2 to 3 cups of coffee had significant cardiovascular benefits.
That's an important statement. I'm going to play it again for you. Listen to this.
And they found that those who had between 2 to 3 cups of coffee had significant cardiovascular benefits.
How about that? 2 to 3 cups of coffee. Now, we're not talking about 2 to 3 milkshakes a day. Before we all used to drink coffee. Now we drink milkshakes. You go to Starbucks or Dutch Brothers, wherever you go to get your coffee, coffee bean, tea leaf, whatever that thing is. And we wonder why we've become so fat in this nation, because instead of having 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, we have 2 or 3 milkshakes a day. That's what's going on. All right, Mo Kelly joins us. Huge moon tonight, buddy.
Huge moon.
Big-ass moon.
And it's supposed to be like orange or some stuff like that. Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Harvest moon, I think they call it.
In about 25 minutes, it's going to start to happen. So
is it going to be visible through that window?
It won't. I think it's going to be too far east to see out that window.
You saying I had to leave the studio to see it?
That's exactly right. Exactly right. But what's on the big show tonight, man?
Well, we got to talk about the rain, which is coming the rest of the week. Metro, they're in trouble again. Ran down a car ran into a train. One of the two had derailed the train. They can't catch a break. Cannot catch a break, or at least not with me.
Right.
And since the last time we talked, they still haven't reached out to me.
But they should. They should. Yeah, because they reach out to everybody you know, just not you.
They know how to get in touch with me. They just look. I don't think I'm intimidating.
That's right. That's right.
And Tupperware is going out of business.
Yeah, my grandmother's a huge fan. I'm sure yours was as well.
Absolutely,
Tupperware around the house.
Yeah,
and it gets faded and turns different colors. You know, you put the spaghetti sauce in it.
Yeah,
it turns the color of the food.
I forgot that Tupperware is a brand like Kleenex,
right?
But it's almost generic now for just stuff you save your food in.
Yeah, and I think Glad and some of these other companies, they put out a similar product, but it wasn't as good as Tupperware. But people didn't care because it was cheaper.
Didn't care,
and they went for it. I saw. I think it was. It was Tiffany who put out that article or wrote something on social media about that new Costco going into Baldwin Hills.
Yes.
But there's people are pissed or really happy. There's nobody really on the fence on that one.
There's no in between, if only because the neighborhood has been changing for the past few years. The people who were there 5 years ago probably are not there now or could not afford to be there now.
Yeah, it's very expensive. And it's already super, super crowded. Anytime you go to LAX and you have to go through that corridor, there's always traffic there.
Always. And it's, just a hop, skip over from SoFi and Inglewood. So you're just adding to problems on top of problems.
And they're going to add 800 apartments. 800 apartments. That could mean 1,000 or 1,200 cars. If you have an apartment, a husband and wife, they each have a car.
Everybody's got to have at least one car in Southern California.
It's at least 800 cars.
Yeah.
And could be more. The only saving grace, though, to living there is if you're out of toilet paper, it's right downstairs.
It could not be any better where you could go down in your robe and your slippers, get some stuff and run back upstairs. It's almost like a part of your house.
Yeah, $1.50 hot dog downstairs. But we were talking earlier about the new Price Club, or not the new Price Club, the old Price Club, which is now Costco. But it was in Inglewood. That's where we used to go, right across from Hollywood Park. I'm sure you went there as a kid.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
It was great. It was a great time of my life. Buddy, I'll be listening. Nice to see you. Moon rising in 25 minutes out of the east. It should be spectacular.
You know what? I should just take a few segments off and just go out and watch.
That's right.
The station's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Put on the best stuff. What the hell? All right, we're live. Mo Kelly next with this whole crew live next on KFI AM 640. Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.